Welcome, folks. I am Jabby Kaway, joined by Achara Kirk.
What's up?
We are continuing on with Moon Knight, Season 1, Episode 3. So if you guys are watching this on YouTube, you will see a cut-down version of our reaction because we're only allowed to show you a limited amount of picture-in-picture. However, if you want to watch the whole thing with us, uncut, uninterrupted, head over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/JabbyKaway, where you can watch the whole show with us, but you will need your own Disney Plus subscription so you can open up the show in an adjacent window to our reaction, and it's like you're watching it with two of your favorite pals from the internet. Now, if you're watching this on Patreon already, thanks so much for supporting us. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications, and pretty please vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. Okay, here we go.
He's probably going to get himself killed running around Cairo.
What is that accent?
She has like a jumbled up, mixed up accent, which I think is so awesome.
Not worried you might have burnt too many bridges? All those stolen relics.
I don't steal.
They've already been stolen.
Take them off the black market
Sounds a little Irish.
and return them to their rightful owners.
Or like North.
I think she sounds like a mix of English, Arabic. I don't know which region.
Maybe, yeah.
Whatever happened in that desert is lost to the sands.
It's a hard thing,
And I won't do either.
like you aren't already. Have a good trip, love.
Touch nothing but the lamp.
Yeah, right.
Bring me the lamp. The rest of the treasure is yours. The lamp is mine. Only one may enter here. One who's worth the diamond. Oh.
Oh, okay. She's here. Oh, shoot.
That little thing is actually pretty good visual effects. Because it looks real.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. I was just like, 100% that's real.
I was like wondering if it's just pure CG or if it's some fancy wire work.
I don't know. It looks cool, though.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What?
What are we dancing? We fighting? What are we gonna do?
Oh, shit. Ooh.
Mark! Don't do it, Mark. Stop.
Oh.
Stop.
No, not in this moment. Why? Okay.
Nice. How does that feel now?
You are at the airport. Yep. Wait, stop.
Why? Oh.
Let me talk to you.
Oh, so much running.
Mark,
Oh my
that's
god.
enough.
Ay-ya. Why are you always distracting him at the wrong moments, man?
What? What?
Oh no.
Oh, God. Steven, what did you do? I swear that wasn't me.
Who?
Oh!
Where's the tomb?
Take him to the ledge.
He's just a kid.
He'll talk.
F. Murray Abraham's got such a dope voice.
Yeah.
Where's Harold?
Where's Amit?
No.
Well, he was wrong.
I thought he'd talk.
So flippant.
You have any good ideas?
I have a bad one.
Oh, great. Bad idea, Bears. Let's go. What?
What
Is
are
it
you doing?
his...
Oh.
Sending the gods a signal they can't ignore.
Oh.
Instant eclipse.
Whoa. Yeah, that's definitely freaky deaky.
That's some interesting visual effects, yo.
Keep digging! No matter what happens!
This must be a soundstage.
Yeah, most likely.
The last time I spoke to the gods, they banished me. Our case against Harold must be indisputable.
Oh, you're on your own, dude.
Aren't you coming with?
Oh, I'll be there.
Oh, I'm really curious as to like what the other avatars are like.
Ooh, here we go.
can't believe it.
He's nerding out.
I'm Yatsil, avatar of Hathor,
Okay.
goddess of music and love.
Oh.
Surely Khonshu mentioned her.
Oh, what? Were they lovers?
As far as I know, the only melody Khonshu enjoys is the sound of pain.
Yatsil.
Is she like his only ally? Does everyone hate him?
Well, Khonshu was banished,
Yeah, that's right.
so.
Speak your purpose.
I call for judgment against Arthur Harrow.
The charges?
Conspiracy to release Amit. This is a man who literally does not know his own name. He has a marriage certificate under the name Mark Speck. Employment records under the name Stephen Grant. The man is clearly in.
Here comes the third.
We will not tolerate violence.
This is about how dangerous he is, if you would just listen.
He has committed no offense. This
Yet.
matter is concluded.
But they're not imprisoning Khonshu, though, right? So at least there's that. That Arthur Harrow, he's too good at talking his way out of things.
Find Senfu's sarcophagus and you'll find your tomb sold on the black market. You might want to start there.
I wonder what it was like for Oscar Isaac to shoot that previous scene with all the shouting.
He was so good because the voice was doing one thing and the body was doing something
Yeah,
else.
I mean, in that regard, it was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Sinful?
How come every
I hope you
time?
like attention.
Oh, yay!
Right guy, right place, but you're not Egyptian.
Layla, what?
I knew it. He needs her help. Uh-oh.
So this Mogart guy, he's really gonna have his sarcophagus?
Yes. I asked around. Mogart's collection is prime gossip for those of us who deal in antiquities.
Party time!
Remember, your name is Rufino Estrada.
Right. Just got back from a honeymoon in the Maldives.
Jousting?
Oh.
Is that what they're doing?
Not quite, but
Or are
yes.
they just tapping sticks?
I think they're gonna
Stick
fight.
tap.
They're
Stick
gonna
tap.
fight. I've never seen this.
He's looking forward to seeing you. After Madripoor, I'm sure you two will have a lot to talk about.
Ooh, Madripoor, eh?
So what, this Joker just puts on normal mock games in his backyard for fun?
No, he gets private lessons by the best in his backyard.
Yeah, I thought it was that guy.
Now, if I may ask, why such interest in Senfu in particular?
Oh, actually, our
I'm
purchases.
sorry, but I'd like to hear from your husband, if you don't mind.
But I think I just would love to take a look.
Feel free.
Yeah, great.
They don't buy it.
Because the information has to be unlocked. It's coded.
Keep him occupied. You want to talk to me? Talk to me. What now?
What now? What now is you give me the body and you piss off.
Check the cartonnage. We'll take that first piece and fold it over the middle piece. This one? Yes, that one.
Touching? Is
Yeah.
that okay to do?
They'll probably be like, what are you doing? Why isn't it disintegrating?
Now, if you match those stars up with the other piece over there and put it all together, it should make a star.
Hey, what are you doing?
Whoa.
Take a look inside the sarcophagus. There's something really, really big.
It appears we have a concerned third party here.
He said that someone arrived.
You keep thinking that distance will prevent the wounds from your father's murder from reopening, but something stands in your way. Your husband doesn't tell you the truth.
What are you waiting for?
Never in pit, pit in Hatta, to act,
Okay.
That's just a taste of the godly power I offer.
I destroyed the clue.
Oh, great. Good job. Well done.
Where is he?
Okay.
Nice.
Nice. Oh.
Buy me some time.
I can do that.
Very cool. What, like, they didn't disintegrate?
Oh!
Ugh.
What's he doing?
Yeah, like, why are you holding
like,
onto the
just holding
cape?
on the cape.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Ay!
Stop it!
God, stop distracting, jeez. Only come with helpful information, Stephen. Come on.
Give me the body, Mark!
Why? Oh, okay.
We're all worked up. Let's all just like chill the F out and talk for a second. Take the body.
Oh no! Oh no! Ah. Jesus! Oh, come on now!
Oh, what is that? Her necklace is a weapon?
Oh. She's getting it in as like a future avatar of Khonshu. Oh, damn. God damn it. Oh, they just all disappeared?
You just watched him not die, and you're gonna still come at him? Alright, her.
What was Harrow talking about?
What do you mean?
He said I had a right to know.
He killed her father.
He's just trying to mess with you, you know? He's trying to get in your mind.
What is that about you?
It's not true. Of course not. No, he's just trying to divide us. Don't let him get in your head.
Oh, his sweater's white.
I know, right?
Just like Moon Knight.
There can't possibly be any secrets left between us. And then something else pops up, and it's like I've not known you at all.
Yeah, you haven't.
Is he allowed to tell her? He can't tell her, right?
Tell her what?
That she's the next,
Well, he wants her to be the next Avatar, whether or not... I suppose on some level she has to accept him, but I don't know.
Wait, no, Khonshu wants to be the next Avatar.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, I thought you were talking about...
I doubt you can just force someone to be your Avatar, you know?
No, but I thought that he's trying to push her away because he doesn't want her to be the next Avatar.
Yeah.
It's gonna take forever.
We need Stephen.
Yeah, that's right. Listen to your wife.
He understands all of this. I really think it's worth giving him a shot.
I summon the gods, you summon the worm. He won't return the body.
Let go, I don't have time.
He's gonna have a chat.
All right, go ahead, you're in. Cheers, thanks a lot.
Did you see how his face changed?
Yeah. Why'd he have to do it over there?
I think he just didn't want to be close to her while he was doing it.
They came up with a way to get about using the sun and the stars. It's bloody genius, isn't it? Et voila. It's French.
He's such a nerd. I love him. He's so like besotted with her.
2,000 years ago, and stars drift over time. Not much as far as stars go, but it can mean the difference between us searching miles and miles away from where we're supposed to be looking. So unless we know exactly what the sky looked like on that date...
I remember that night.
Oh.
Okay. Khonshu, come on, let's get involved. Yeah, get useful. Everyone has their part to play.
I can turn back the night sky.
How?
It will come at a cost, and I cannot do it alone.
Oh, what does he have to give?
Do what I do.
Oh.
This is so cool. Wow, can you imagine? Just like, what the hell's going on? But then is he not just broadcasting it to everyone, including Harrow?
You brought this upon yourself, Khonshu.
Oh, he won't have the suit anymore, will he, if Khonshu is imprisoned?
I got it!
5 degrees east.
29 degrees north, 25 east.
Now, he's tethered to this place.
Or was he going to taunt him?
Dealing out pain on your behalf. That is the greatest sin I carry. Your torment forged me. I owe my victory to you.
Wow. Overall, I enjoyed the adventure in this episode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like the target of the show overall and like the objectives. Like we're supposed to get to here and we're supposed to get to here, and then these are the setbacks along the way. I enjoy the overarching ideas, I suppose, and I really, really like Steven. Like, I want more of his character to be present in this show because he's so much, like, I suppose the way they're doling him out is great. It's just that we spent so much time with him in the first 2 episodes. It's like, it was just like a character shift, and I understand why, because he's got multiple personality disorder, right? And so we're supposed to spend time with the other characters. And while I think Oscar Isaac is awesome, when we were seeing him fight and whatnot, I wasn't seeing the deadliness that I recognized from the fight scene when he blacked out and then he had blood in his hand.
Right.
And the thing, I was like, the fight we saw, it just looked like a scuffle, you know? It looked like a physical altercation that you'd see in pretty much like any other movie. And my expectation going into this was that it was going to be a little bit more mature in nature, but they're really going for the PG-13 line. I'm like, okay, how's that going to work when you pair him up with Blade? Which is gonna be R for sure, right? And
well, then maybe in that pairing, then they can go all out.
Sure.
But yeah, for the show, they're definitely not doing that.
Sure. And so, yeah, I think that maybe I was expecting a little bit of that. Not that I'm like looking for violence, because I'm not that dude, but it did feel like it warranted more edginess, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And so that felt like it was kind of lacking. The fight scenes were a little bit clunky for me. Like there were moments that it was cool and whatnot, and then it went back to being kind of clunky again. Like the action in general, the sort of the blocking of everything in general in this episode was a little bit weird and wonky to me, but I still appreciate the overall attitude of the show and like where it's going and whatnot. This one just felt like it was sort of lacking trajectory a little bit. It was just sort of like, oh, kind of this way, and it sort of stumbled its way to the end, and it had that really cool shot of the sky when it was like rewinding the stars for a second. I don't even understand how that works relative to the rest of the universe, or in this case, excuse me, the rest of the galaxy, because you're only looking at the stars of your own galaxy, right?
Right.
And so, yeah, like, how is that not just destroying the Milky Way? But whatever, it's cool. It's a sci-fi. It's a fun fantasy show. But it was neat. It was a neat, interesting moment to see, and then you have this instance of the character losing everything he's got, because he lost his power because Khonshu's now trapped in that little statue. Mark's got to go get him out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think for me, perhaps what you're saying about, the story and everything, maybe it's not as strong this time.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy the characters.
Yeah,
like I could just hang out with these characters all day and I really care about them. I enjoy the exploration of the relationship between Layla and Marc, that scene where you kind of see them, dealing with their marriage and their relationship, but also just being like, but we have to do this thing, this task at hand. It felt very real, and I enjoy the acting from the both of them. And then obviously, Steven's great. We love Steven, but sometimes in this episode, I was kind of getting annoyed at him because I'm like, dude, you're getting in the way. Don't you see that Marc needs to concentrate right now? And you coming in there and being like, no, Marc, no.
Yeah.
It's like, he's just creating problems, but we need those problems.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they could have handled that a little bit more interestingly. That's actually a great example of like getting interference from his own other personality, and it just felt like all it did was it slowed down the fight for a second as opposed to adding an element to the fight. It felt like it could have gotten more creative, because the thing about it is I know many people who work at Marvel or on Marvel films, Marvel projects, including Daredevil, including Captain America, and all the Avengers films. Like, I know those guys, and they are really, really, really skilled at creating very, very interesting fight scenes. And this felt like, oh, well, let's just create a fight. And then, okay, it's got to stop for a second because of this, like, character moment. Okay, now let's go back to the fight. It didn't feel like an integration, like, okay, what made me think of, like, Jackie Chan was when Marc was chasing through the Egyptian town and whatever.
Yeah.
And immediately my brain went to Accidental Spy, where, well, Jackie Chan fights butt naked in that scene. But there was some interesting choreography and whatnot, and Jackie Chan-isms and what have you. And I think that this was a perfect opportunity to have some Jackie Chan-isms, where he's fighting with himself at the same time as fighting these guys.
Right, that would have been very creative and potentially very funny as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You get the comedy element, which is what Marvel wants, and you get like highly creative fight scenes that we haven't really seen in Marvel in I don't know if we've ever seen Marvel do Jackie Chan type fight
Well,
scenes.
I guess Shang-Chi would have been
Shang-Chi, yes, that's right. Shang-Chi
Yeah.
was the closest, but that's a good example. Shang-Chi's another example of like a Marvel property where they have a really good fight scene or fight scenes, and it's like, okay, so why not with this? Because it seems like a perfectly good opportunity. You're still getting that sort of Indiana Jones vibe, which is cool. Overall, I was like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't like love the episode. I agree with you. Like, there was instances I was like, he's just in the way.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna come, at least be helpful.
Yeah.
Like, understand your lane. I get it. You don't want him to kill people because that's also blood on your hands. But like in that situation, it's pretty dire. So maybe just shut up or help out somehow.
It might have been too expensive to do, but like, okay, for instance, in the middle of the fighting, right? What Steven doesn't want is death. He doesn't want blood on his hands.
Yeah.
Okay, we've established that. So what happens is in the middle of the fight, you have an opportunity for Steven to kill someone, and Mark jumps out in his Mr. Knight suit and goes, no, and he like bops him on the head or something like that, because he doesn't know how to fight, right?
Right, yeah.
And so every time there's about to be an execution, he sort of stops it, and instead of like actually killing, Mr. Knight steps in and stops Moon Knight from actually having an execution on more blood on his hands. And it's just like, at a certain point, it's like he's just wrestling with himself, and it gets to be a little bit comedic, but I think that this lends itself to that in an interesting way that still will yield very, very fun, exciting action.
Yeah.
So,
you know what? We haven't even mentioned the thing that has been sitting on the back of my mind since the very beginning, which is, who the hell is this third personality?
They hinted at it.
They hinted at it, and they didn't show us at all in this episode, and that's just kind of been gnawing at me for the entire episode, because I'm like, is this the moment? Is this the moment when they're going to show this third personality? Because they definitely hinted at it, because, they were all like, wait, no, it wasn't me. No, it was you. No, it wasn't you. So it's like, okay, there's someone else here, and like, what's his deal? Because clearly he's super deadly as well, but can we trust him? Do we like him? That's what's kind of going through my mind. And so I thought that was really cool that they kind of dropped that in there and make us kind of think about it, but then they did it early enough that if you're not really like holding on to it, you could kind of forget about it for this episode, and then maybe in the next episode they'll like bring him in.
I was thinking about what you said about how you really care about all the characters, and I care about Steven. I care about his wife, Mark's wife, Layla, but I don't have as much of a connection to Mark yet. And I think that's where I'm sort of like fuzzy. Like, I get the objective of the show and what the stakes are.
Yeah.
But I don't have as much of a connection to Mark, and I would think that the show is constantly jumping forward and switching between characters. It's like skipping forward in the episode or in the timeline of what's going on, which is cool. It's a cool effect to have.
I really enjoyed that, actually, like how they did that in...
They reversed it, right? And yeah, so that was neat. But what's happening is I'm missing out on an opportunity to get to know who the heck Steven is.
You mean Mark?
Oh, yes, Mark. Sorry. Yeah, Mark. I'm missing out on an opportunity to get to know Mark so I can care about him and his plight, because he is individual apart from Steven. I got a chance to really get to know Steven and care about him. I really felt from him for episode 1, like when he was at the restaurant by himself.
I think because he's kind of relatable, because he's kind of like that side of us that's like super dorky and nerdy and just wants to be loved, and people are just like, you're kind of weird, you know?
So that's all. I think I'm just lacking a connection to Steven, but maybe perhaps...
To Mark.
Yes, to Mark. It gets confusing. They get it confused. I get it confused. So maybe with another episode, I will have that connection established more, because I spent an entire episode here with him. So that's a possibility. I do really wish that rooftop fight scene gave us a little bit more deadliness out of him. Maybe have 5 or 6 guys instead of 3. And while I really like the idea of it skipping forward, kind of like what happened to Steven in the previous first or second episode, like reversing here and working against Mark this time.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. But then it was like he kept ending up near the bad guys that he was just fighting. I'm like, how is that possible?
Because it's the third personality.
But he was in a taxi going to the airport. How could he be near those guys?
Okay, that was probably Steven. But but like anytime that he was in a fight that he didn't know how he ended up there, that was definitely the third personality who's equally deadly, or if not more deadly.
It begs the question of who was actually fighting amongst Ethan Hawke when he grabbed the...
I reckon that was still Mark, though.
I don't know. I mean,
maybe.
I don't. That's the thing. I don't know. I mean, the assumption is, but then we saw him fighting, and he wasn't killing anybody right away. I mean, it's confusing. So I think that's the thing. It's like I needed to see Mark just kill these guys, so we know like what he's about. So when we're in the ring where the jousting was supposed to happen, we know he's gonna just execute these guys, and then that's why Steven is constantly getting in the way, because what we've established so far is that Mark might not kill the guys. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, no, I see what you're saying. We didn't really see him kill the guys, but I think he would have killed the adult men. He just wasn't cool with killing the teenager.
He didn't want to kill the kid because it's a kid.
Yeah.
I get that. But we needed to see him just like add on 3 more guys instead of just 3 on the roof. Like have it be 6, right? Like I said a moment ago.
Okay.
And just take out 3 of them right away. And that's the kind of guy Marc is.
Okay, gotcha.
You know what I'm
All
saying?
right,
So we established that because presumably he couldn't kill those guys because he was in the scuffle. Maybe he would have. But it seemed like there were moments that stalled where it's like he had the knife in his hand or something, or the knife went right by his face. And instead of immediately going, ka, like pulling the knife out of the baskets and stabbing the guy in the neck.
Sure, yeah, he could have been more deadly, as your point.
And so even within that fight, I'm thinking about it now, there was just like moments where they had egg on their face. It's just like...
Yeah, I did feel that a little bit. Like there were some moments where I was like, okay, you're clearly just stalling right now. You're not really moving. That's just the fight choreography.
The thing about it is, okay, for instance, there's a scene in with the jousting where the bad guy grabs Moon Knight's cape.
Yeah, that.
And he's just holding on.
That was awkward.
I would imagine, unless I talked to someone who worked on this, I would imagine that the choreographer had intended something different. Like, grab the cape quickly, next thing. But then they started shooting it, and then Muhammad was like, actually, just hold on to it for a second. Like, you know, like I think things get sort of lost in translation because of different cooks in the kitchen, you know, different creative forces are coming together, and Muhammad has the final say so in this particular matter, and it just like it looks awkward to someone like myself where he's just holding onto the cape, but maybe the fight choreographer intended something different where it was something more creative and whatnot. Maybe there was a budgetary limitation. I mean, Moon Knight's character is expensive, you know, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of digital elements involved, including, you know, the cape and everything. So it's a TV show, so it doesn't have the budget of the movies.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I have to keep that in consideration. But it's like when I go all the way back to the beginning, of course, again, dealing with different elements. Daredevil, Season 1, Episode 2. Season 2, Episode 2, I believe. Whatever that stairwell fight scene was. Like, those are some epic fights. The reason I'm trying to, like, put a caveat on that is because it's like, it didn't have the same visual effects that Moon Knight does. It's
sure.
You know,
yeah.
It's mostly just raw brawling and whatever, as opposed to like these elements and the things. Like he throws his cape and then the things fly out and stab the guys. I'm like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
I just wish that there was like an integration that was more fluid and dynamic.
Deadly.
Like, yeah, deadly. Like we just watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. Low budget movie, I'm sure, compared to this show. And the fight scenes completely crush this show. Like just annihilate this show.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, those fight scenes destroy this show. And that makes me a little bit sad because I'm like, this has a way bigger budget and way more opportunities to do some super cool shit. And that little indie movie, I mean, it feels so much bigger than an indie movie, but that indie movie just destroyed this. Is it an indie movie? I don't know.
Anyway, it's a great film. But fight scenes and all that aside, I was also just really enjoying, first of all, in this episode, we do kind of get to know Khonshu a little bit more as well. And I really started to care about him as a character, like understanding how he might be feeling about being banished from all the other gods and just the stakes, you know, how high the stakes are for everything that he has to do in order to stop Amit from being, you know, discovered.
He's willing to He's willing to risk being imprisoned in order to stop him.
Yeah, her.
Her. Sorry, her, yes.
Yes.
Yep, that one.
Yep. And I also really enjoyed all the stuff with like the Council of Gods as well. I mean, I don't know if this reference is kind of making sense at all, but I immediately started thinking about the Neil Gaiman book, American Gods. I haven't seen the show, so I don't know if it's like that in the show, but it did kind of feel that way where the gods are just always present and they always have been, but they're just kind of hiding in the shadows now because we don't believe in them anymore. And so that kind of made me think about that. And so I enjoyed that as well. A lot of the stuff on the side I really liked, even though the fight scenes probably weren't like
there was a lot of fight scenes
as good as they could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you there, but I think that the characters are interesting enough that I'm still just so curious about what's gonna happen next, and I just really want to know who this third character is. Third personality.
I think we might know already from the Eric Voss.
Oh yeah, from the comics. Is it like Jake something? Anyway, I can't remember.
I'm surprised those papers that they were folding held together.
After he disintegrated the entire sarcophagus.
Well, that too. I'm just talking about folding them in general. I'm like, isn't not
I know.
Like really old.
They're thousands of years old.
Just hanging out.
You would touch them and they would just like turn into dust.
But like, moreover, they're suffering from the elements. They're just out.
Yeah, I know.
They're not in a box preserved.
Humidified.
Like, you could just easily like touch it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's okay. Cool.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll buy it. Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, anyone from the age of like 14 and up would look at that and go, wouldn't that just fall apart?
Yeah,
like,
probably.
I feel
yeah.
like most people would look at that and go, wouldn't that just disintegrate? Like, it's so fragile. Like, you think about a document that's nowhere near as old, the Declaration of Independence, that's inside of like super maximum security.
Glass, yeah.
Because it is fragile. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Maybe the Egyptians had a bit, I mean, they figured out ways to preserve the body in the sarcophagus. So maybe they had like special paper that was
super smart ancient civilization. And speaking about the Egyptians and Egypt, I mean, so obviously Mohammed, the director, he's actually Egyptian.
Right.
And so I appreciated a lot of the little like Egyptian nuances throughout. The music like really sets the tone. Mm-hmm. And I think my favorite part that kind of pertains to that was when they were on the boat heading over to see the guy. And then they were kind of partying at the back of the boat. And there was the lady doing the, I don't know what it's called. It's like ululating or something, like making that noise. And it just made me like so happy because I'm like, oh my gosh, it just feels like such a genuine celebration of, you know, Egyptian culture and like Arabic culture. It just felt nice to kind of have that be present in the episode, you know, because they are in Egypt and it just kind of gives it that kind of feeling of, you know, we're there, it's a celebration, it's a party, we're not all terrorists out here, you know, that kind of vibe.
Okay.
I don't know, I only think about this because I just got back from the Middle East and my dad was watching a random movie and then they were showing Middle Eastern terrorism and my brother-in-law was like, again? Yeah. Really? Again? That's not all it is over here, you know?
Well, speaking of terrorists, there were some moments where the visual effects green screen was like looking a little funny. I was trying to make a weird segue just to get out of that topic because it was making me uncomfortable.
Sorry.
So yeah, like there was some action sequence, like on the rooftop parkour stuff, right from the parkour running. I could see that there was some green screen. It was like the feathering just looked a little funny around their heads and stuff sometimes. I could tell it was a stage. It kind of confuses me because I'm like, this is Disney, this is Marvel, they have so much money.
Couldn't they just have shot it in Egypt? But
no. Like you don't need to shoot in Egypt, but like the thing about it is like green screen is like they know green screen. Like this technology, they got it down pat. So it's just a little surprising to me when you can tell that it's on a soundstage or a green screen still. There are moments where it just completely shines. Like when Ethan Hawke was walking with the scarab.
Oh yeah.
It looked so real, you're not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know? It just looked like real.
That's what it does.
Yeah, so
it's a real thing. Yeah, that was really good.
I thought that was nice. And there are moments where the visual effects is really nice, but like sometimes it's just the green screen stuff just looks a little bit shoddy, dodgy. But anyway, overall, I enjoyed this enough to keep going. I mean, I'm committed now. So you guys,
we're all in.
Thank you so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Do let us know your feelings, positive and negative, in the comments below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Bell icon, all notifications. I'm pretty pleased to vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. If you're watching this on Patreon, thanks so much for supporting us here. I'm Jabby Kuwait. This is
Achara Cook.
Peace out.